So now we will look at some categories of number or some types of numbers based on their factors. Now we understood the concept of factors. Now looking at how different numbers have different sets of factors, we will categorize them into different types. So what are these different types? We will talk about prime numbers, we will talk about composite numbers. So let us look at what are prime numbers. The word prime means something which is like important, which is primary. So that those are the places where we use the word prime. Now these are those numbers whose only factors are 1 and the number itself. Now as we have noticed that for every number, if we try to find out their factors, we will see that 1 is always a factor of that number. And we also see that the number itself is also a factor of that number. Now, if we come across a number where the only factors are 1 and the number itself, that is, there are no other factors than these two, then those numbers are called prime numbers. That's interesting, right? So let us look at some examples of prime numbers. Think of 2. So if I ask you to write down the factors for 2, 2 can be written as 1 into 2 and 2 into 1. So basically it has two factors, 1 and 2. So 1 and the number itself. So 2 is a prime number. Similarly, let's consider another number, 23. So 23 can be written as 1 into 23, 23 into 1. You cannot write it in any other way. So that proves that it has only two factors, 1 and the number itself. Think of 5. 5 also has two factors, 1 and 5. And that is why 5 is also a prime number. What about 7? 7 also can be written either as 7 into 1 or 1 into 7, which shows that it has two factors, 1 and itself. So therefore all of these are examples of prime numbers. So then what are composite numbers? So composite numbers are exactly those numbers which are not prime. So basically these are numbers with more than two factors. That means these numbers will have 1 as a factor, the number itself as a factor, plus some other factors. So let's quickly look at some examples. Let us consider 4. What about 4? How many factors it has? 4 can be written as 1 into 4, 2 into 2, 4 into 1. So basically it has 1, 2 and 4 as factors. So 1 and the number itself, plus it has one additional factor, that is 2. Therefore this is a composite number. Think of 6. So 6 can be written as 1 into 6, 2 into 3, 3 into 2, 6 into 1. So basically it has 1, 2, 3, 6 as the factors. So you see, other than 1 and itself, it has two more factors, that is 2 and 3. So now when you look at the series of numbers starting from 1, so what are the numbers that we come across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. Now from 1 to 10, can you tell me which one is prime and which one is composite? Now let us start from 2. We saw that 2 is a prime number. 3 is also a prime number because 3 is divisible only by 1 and 3. 4 is not a prime number, so 4 is a composite number. 5 is again a prime number. 6 is a composite number. 7 is a prime number. 8 is a composite number. What about 9? 9 is a composite number because 9 has multiple factors like 1, 3, 9. So 9 is again a composite number. 10 is again a composite number because 10 has multiple factors like 1, 2, 5, 10 and so on. So in this way we can decide whether a particular number is prime or composite. Now you might ask, what happened to 1? So if 1 is a prime number or a composite number. Now 1 is not a composite number because it doesn't have more than two factors. So it is not composite number. Is it a prime number? Because 1 has only one factor. So what would be the factor for 1? 1. So 1 and the number itself, but the number itself is also 1. So in this case, therefore we cannot really consider 1 as a prime number as well. So what do we say? 1 is neither prime nor composite. So 1 is like an exception to this concept of prime and composite numbers. So let us look at these numbers on the screen and decide whether it is a prime or a composite number. So let us start with 56. So what are the different ways we can write 56? It can be written as 1 into 56. It can be written as 2 into 28. Do you think it can be divisible by 3? No. It is divisible by 4. 5? No. 6? No. 7? Yes. 7 into 8 is 56. So 8, yes, 8 into 7 is 56. Then 14 into 4 is 56, 28 into 2 is 56, and 56 into 1 is also 56. So considering these, we can say that it has multiple factors. So how many factors it has? 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 14, 28 and 56. So it has 1 and the number itself. Besides that also it has so many factors. So it has more than 2 factors, therefore it is a composite number. Consider 1. So just now we discussed about 1 and we found that 1 is an exception. So it is neither prime nor composite. Let's consider 23. So what are the different ways you can write 23? 1 into 23 and 23 into 1. It is not divisible by any other number like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. So therefore 23 is a prime number. Think of 15. So 15 can be written as 1 into 15. It can also be written as 3 into 5, 5 into 3, 15 into 1. So basically it has more than 2 factors like 1, 3, 5, 15. Therefore this is a composite number. Let's look at the last one, that is 27. 27 also can be written in many different ways like 1 into 27, 3 into 9, 9 into 3, 27 into 1. So this also has multiple factors and therefore it is composite. So in this fashion, by finding out the factors of a number, we can decide whether that number is a prime number or a composite number. No more fear from exam. Now here you might have faced a challenge. You might feel that it becomes difficult for bigger numbers like 104. Let's say you ask me whether 104 is a prime number or composite number. Now if I start from 1 and if I have to continue till 104 trying to see whether 104 is divisible by each of the numbers or not, then it is going to be a very tedious task. So it would become very difficult to decide whether 104 is a prime number or a composite number. So what do we do? So in order to solve this issue, in order to find out quickly whether a particular number is divisible by another number or not, we quickly introduce the concept of odd and even numbers. Now you might say that how is the concept of odd even numbers related to prime composite numbers? So we will quickly understand that, but before that let us understand what are odd numbers and what are even numbers. Now even numbers are those numbers which are divisible by 2 and odd numbers are those which are not divisible by 2. Now what do we mean by divisible by 2? That means that number can be divided into 2 equal parts. That is the meaning of divisible by 2. Let us take examples. Let us consider a number 10. Now, do you think that 10 can be divided into 2 equal parts? Yes, you can divide it as 5, 5. So this side 5, this side 5. It is a balanced where both the sides are equal. So 10 can be divided into 2 equal parts. So, and that is because 10 is divisible by 2. So if you divide 10 by 2, what do you get? You get the quotient as 5. So 10 can be divided into 2 equal parts. Therefore 10 is divisible by 2. Similarly, let us talk about the number 2. Can you divide it into 2 equal parts? Yes. 1, 1. You talk about 50. 50 can be divided into two equal parts. Yes, 25, 25. So 25 plus 25 is 50. So basically all even numbers are divisible by 2. So examples of even numbers would be like 56, 28, 100, 102, 110. So these are all examples of even numbers because these are divisible by 2. Now, how are even numbers? How is the concept of even number linked to prime composite number? Now, these even numbers will not be prime numbers. They can never be prime numbers. Why? Because the even numbers itself means that they are divisible by 2. Now, if they are divisible by 2, that means 2 is one of the factors. So that means the number has more than 2 factors, because every number has 2 factors in common. One is 1 and the other is the number itself. So if 2 is also a factor, that means that number has more than 2 factors, therefore the number is composite. Now the only exception to this is the number 2. So 2 is the only number which is a prime number and which is also an even number. So remember this, 2 is the only exception which is an even prime number. Other than that, the prime numbers can only be odd numbers. But again, that does not mean that all odd numbers will be prime numbers. That is also not true. So let us look at the odd numbers, and we find that the odd numbers may or may not be prime numbers. So let us look at some examples. Let us consider the number 7. 7 is not divisible by 2, therefore 7 is an odd number. 9 is also not divisible by 2, so 9 is also an odd number. Now let us see if both of these are prime numbers or not. So 7 is a prime number because it has only 2 factors, that is 1 and 7. But when you look at 9, 9 is a composite number. That's because it has multiple factors like 1, 3, 9. So therefore it has more than 2 factors, therefore it is a composite number. So odd numbers can be prime numbers, odd numbers can also be composite numbers. But when it comes to even numbers, they are always composite numbers except the number 2. Now you might ask that if I am given a big number, for example, if I am given a number like this, 2140. So how do I know if this number is even or odd? Now there is a very simple trick to find out if a number is divisible by 2 or not. So all that you need to do is you need to see the digit that is present in the ones place or the units place. Now this is the units place. This is tens place, this is hundreds place, this is thousands place. So observe the digit that is present in the units place. If in the units place you have one of these digits 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So if you have one of these digits in the units place, that means the number is even. That means that the number is divisible by 2. Divisible by 2 means an even number. So with this simple trick, doesn't matter how much ever big the number may be, you can quickly decide whether it is an even number. And if it is an even number, it is definitely going to be a composite number. So now finding prime and composite number has become little easier. All you need to do, at least one step easier, because now any number with 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8 at the units place would be an even number, and these even numbers are always composite. So you really do not need to spend time to say whether an even number is a composite number or a prime number, because even numbers will always be composite number and the only exception is 2. Let us look at another cute set of numbers called twin primes. Now, do you know what are twins? Who are twins? Now, siblings who are like born together, they look identical to each other. They are called twins. Now, what could be twin primes? Now, these are two prime numbers whose difference is 2. That means, let us take an example. Now, let us take a pair of numbers, 3 and 5. Now, is 3 a prime number? Yes, because 3 has 2 factors, 1 and 3. And besides this, it doesn't have any other factor. What about 5? Is 5 a prime number? Yes, because it has again only 2 factors, 1 and itself, that is 5. So both 3 and 5 are prime numbers, and the difference between 3 and 5 is how much? 2. So 3 and 5 are called twin primes. So any such two numbers which are both primes and the difference between the two is 2, they are called twin primes. 5 and 7 is another example. The difference is 2, both are primes. 11 and 13 is another example where the difference is 2 and both of them are prime numbers. 17, 19 is yet another example. So in this way, you can, wherever you see any two prime numbers whose difference is 2, they are called twin primes. 29 and 31 is another example. 41, 43 is also an example of twin prime.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.